Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All right, folks, we're back with you, and I am more than excited. We have got a young man on here, the founder of the Rascals, #1 rock band in the world from 65 through 70, still rocking through, and a legendary member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and many more. Mr. Felix Cavaliere, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right, sir. How you doing?
You're sounding good, I'll guarantee you that, man.
And my eyes are open and everything.
That's a good thing, man. I'm going to tell you right now, this is unreal to get to talk to. You don't know how many of these songs that I've sung along with you over the miles that we've drove down the road, man. I love it. I guarantee it. And you're still out going, man.
Yeah, I'm still doing it after all these years, and why not? People want to hear the music. Let's do it.
I'm with you,
Felix. They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me call you this morning because when you answered, I was just going to say it's a beautiful morning. Like I'm sure no one has ever sung that to you before.
How is it out there in GA? How's everything?
Man, it is beautiful. 72 degrees on the high today. Going to be beautiful, sunshiny skies, and we're all ready for it. I guarantee it. How about you?
I'm over here in Nashville, Tennessee, which you can probably tell by my accent. I've been here for a long time.
Right.
And I got family now in Georgia. My sister and brother-in-law and a bunch of my nephews, they moved to Dawsonville and to Dahlonega.
Okay, well, they're just right over the hill from us. Yeah, right over the hill.
I got kin over there.
Dawsonville is the only county in the state of Georgia you can pay your water bill and buy moonshine at the same location.
Still?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
when we first started many, many years ago, we did a Dick Clark Caravan of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And we came through a lot of the smaller towns in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. And, I think we really firmed up a good relationship with people who love, R&B music done by white guys.
Hey, y'all do it well, too, man. I mean, y'all, golly, the hits that you've had over the years and all the stuff that you've accomplished, man. I mean, this is just – and still, I just love it that you're still playing. That's the thing. I love it. I mean, I've been – keeping up with you, and I am a big fan of your music, no doubt, and still going
well, I appreciate that. No, you get a little blessed once in a while in lifetime, and you're still able to do it, and I really feel seriously that the people want to hear it, so I certainly always enjoy doing it.
Well, now, are you performing now solo act, or do you still have the band together, or how are you doing this?
Well, I moved to Nashville because, as you well know, there's really a great bunch of musicians and songwriters here. So I've been here since late '80s,
right?
And I've established a band that I've actually had this band longer than I had my original Rascals,
right?
And they're great. They're younger guys, They grew up on the music. They love the music. They play their tails off. And when you get them on stage, man, you have to pull them off. They love playing.
Well, they'd have to be pretty good to keep up with you. I mean, ain't no doubt.
Well, they are pretty good. Let me tell you, I'm really blessed to have them because, as they say, there's a joy when people play music from their heart.
Mm-hmm.
People in the audience know it.
Right.
Felix, I was a big Dick Clark fan, and I remember one of the things that I think we're missing a lot in today's music is the passion that you guys brought forth, and you're still doing it. Mm-hmm. And, you look at Carlos Santana and all of these guys that were performing in the 60s and 70s, and we're just so passionate about what they do, and you're the epitome of that as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I noticed a lot of the oldies but goodies people have that desire and that passion. It was so different. When we first started, it was right after Buddy Holly and those people and, of course, Elvis. There really wasn't like a fortune to be made being a musician. You had to really do it from your heart, your love of music.
Right.
It didn't really get into the zeros until till Led Zeppelin came along. And that's when it really started to click into the bank,
Right.
So the people that did it loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, I toured with Ringo.
Mm-hmm.
Ringo doesn't need to ever go out of his house. He's got enough money to last him and his great-grandchildren for the rest of their lives. You got to pull him off of the stage. He loves it.
Yeah.
He's just a big old hand.
What you do, too. I mean, that's the thing about it. And it's kind of getting back to that in the music industry now because the money is really thin, man, with all these downloads and people stealing music and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to weed out a lot of the folks that's in it for the money. And that's the thing about it. I love music and I'm all about
there you go.
And, we had Paul Overstreet on the other day, and he said that some of the guys in the music industry said that they're not really releasing the best songs now because they don't have the right beat, because it's a certain beat that people are looking for. I thought that was sad.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was sad that, there's a lot of cool.
Well, it's look, I mean, our world right now is upside down. I feel so terribly about these Ukrainian people, and I'm so happy to see their strength, and I think we should really take a lesson and say, like, oh my God, look at these men and women. I mean,
amen.
You got to take your hat off.
They
You
are.
got to take your hat off.
They are absolutely encouraging the world. I feel like, and I mean, golly, I'm all for helping them. I mean, it's just to see what's going on over there. But the pride.
We need that. I mean, we're over here tussling with each other. What's the point? It's like I tell my kids, don't fight with each other. You haven't got the whole world to fight with.
Yes, right.
I'm with you. And these folks are fighting for their lives, man.
And thank God us Italians don't like to fight with each other, because God, can you just imagine that?
Yeah, well, I'm living proof of that with my 3-member Italian rascal group. But that's okay. Life is good. Life is good.
I love the Italians, man. If it wasn't for Italians, you wouldn't have like big trunks and Lincolns. You wouldn't have concrete shoes and all this cool stuff that they brought to the world.
Hey, my uncle Carmine was never convicted of that. Okay, I just want to go on the record.
Oh, man.
There you go.
I'm going to tell you, man, your music that you have released over the years, just like Good Lovin', man, I mean, some of this stuff is just, they will be around forever. There's a lot of songs that was released that kind of fade in the wings, over the years. But these songs, Groovin' and Beautiful Morning, my Lord, these are songs that last forever,
And Felix, what he's saying, too, you had some really cool songs like that are iconic, but some of the deep tracks, too, like one of my favorites, and I'm a little younger than these old guys here, and my dad, he just raised me with your music, the Young Rascals. Heaven was one of my favorite songs growing up.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yep.
That's one of my daughter's favorites. Well, what people have to understand is the competition that we were up against in those days was pretty darn good. I mean, you got those fellows over there in England coming out with some really, really, really top-notch songs. So if you wanted to exist, you really had to, that bar was pretty high. You had to do it. And I don't know, my philosophy always was, look, I like to see people smile, and I like to see people happy. I like to see people forgetting about their troubles and kind of looking upwards and saying, like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
So I wrote most of the songs that I wrote with that in mind. Like, hey, look, if you want trouble, just turn on the news, man. You can see trouble all the time. But, you turn on the radio, you turn on music, come on, let's smile, let's be happy. Come on, why not?
I'm with you 100%. Folks, we're talking to Felix Cavaliere. Go to FelixCavalieremusic.com. He has got all the information he's got. You can follow him, see the shows he's got coming up. He is still touring, and we're lucky. Very lucky to have him today. And but you're like I said, you're out still going and still touring. So now touring nowadays is a lot different than it was back in
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, it was just like from one spot to the next. So
TSA. We used to, in the old days, literally, when we would go like some places out of town, like in Midwest, we used to be able to actually drive onto the runway and load our equipment into the back of the planes. I wouldn't try that today. We never get back alive,
Yeah. I'm with you.
Different world. But, as I say, I used to hear my parents and grandparents, talk about the youngins and, what's going on in our world. And I think it's the same thing. We're looking and we're saying, my goodness, what the heck are these kids thinking? What are they doing?
Yeah.
So I really think we're going to be all right. I think, that, the Lord is looking down here and saying, what the heck did I do down there? I don't know, but I better get a little help down there right now.
I'm with you.
Because they need it.
Now you're going March the 28th. You're going to be on the Flower Power Cruise.
Yes.
Is that still?
Yes.
I mean, I remember back in the day. We had the Flower Power Hour and all that stuff on the radio. Was that still?
Yeah.
Is it still the flower part still as popular on the power tour as it used to be? Or is
oh my goodness! For people who don't know what that is, this is an excuse for you to go back in time to when you was a young, crazy teenager, wearing the tie-dye shirts and the long hair and rocking and rolling for about, 6 or 7 days out to sea where nobody knows you. You can do whatever you want. And then as soon as you get back to shore, you're right back to normal.
Yeah.
And they had a ball. I'm serious. They enjoy themselves. They really let their hair down. They get back to, again, I mentioned my sister and my husband. I never saw my brother-in-law dance in my life till he got on one of those cruises.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a sight to see, too, let me tell you.
They say, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I'm a redneck, and that don't work with rednecks because we get back, we're like, man, you ain't going to believe what I did.
Yeah, well, exactly. But no, that Flower Power 2 has been canceled the last 2 years because of this COVID stuff. And it's really a shame because, there's a certain kind of like, again, I say the word happiness, joy. The peace, love generation, we really tried, man. We really tried to, make this a happy, safe planet. And, we didn't quite make it, but maybe our grandkids will make it.
Yeah, we got to make it better for them. I'm like you. Folks, we're talking to Felix Cavaliere. Go to FelixCavalieremusic.com. Go to his website, and that'll take you to all his social media platforms. You can buy stuff. And you've even got a book, The Memoirs of the Rascals. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, basically, we did a tour. In 2013, we did a tour. We did a Broadway show, which was called Once Upon a Dream. It was named after one of our old albums. And, just to make it real quick, when you do those kind of things, you have press conferences, and you have, the 4 original Rascals on stage with the press.
Right.
And I noticed that every single one of us had a different answer for the same question. And I said, oh, my God, I really thought I was there. I really thought I was present. So I thought I was awake, too. So I decided I like to just write down my thoughts, my views of what happened. Little things like, how'd you get your name and how'd the group start? Everybody had a different answer. So, I'm just wondering whether the Japanese really attacked Pearl Harbor or not. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. It's the last person standing that tells the story.
That's exactly right. Yep, I'm with you on that.
No disrespect to my veterans out there, because God bless you all. We love you.
Yeah, we do. I'll guarantee it. But now you play my favorite instrument. My mother, back when I was still not even born yet, played the piano in church, and that is my favorite instrument.
There you go.
And then that, the Harmon B3, which now it's all computerized, but back in the day you had to carry the big box around and all that kind of stuff. But that to me,
oh yeah, chiropractors love me. Let me tell you.
Now, Felix, do you still use the Hammond B3 and the Leslie speaker and all that stuff?
I still do. I still try and do it. The audiences they kind of they identify me with that instrument. It's just very difficult to find one, because we can't carry it anymore. It's too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to find one that's functional, because they really stopped making the big B3 in 1972. So when you get one, you got to hope that it's really preserved,
right,
like the rest of us.
But that's just that B3 is the ultimate blues sound to me.
Oh yeah, church. What about church?
Hey, I'm with you, man.
It's interesting. The gentleman that developed that, Mr. Hammond, I don't think he had any idea of the impact that instrument was going to have on church and music,
right,
because, just as soon as you hear it, you kind of go back to Sunday, oh yeah, there you go. He subconscious remembers that sound.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was raised in a Baptist church, but over the years, I actually lead singing. We call it lead singing. We're still a small church. Now I think they call it music minister, but in our church, it's still lead singing. Man, we do Pentecostal music, because that's the best, man. There's no doubt. Pentecostal has got the music going on, and, that's where you hear a lot of that stuff. So now, did you play in church growing up?
Well, not really. I really was not an organ player until I was like 15 or 16. I was primarily a piano classical player. My mom, rest her soul, she really wanted me to do classical music. And it's kind of like in the churches, like when you start going into lay music, they don't want you in here.
Right.
It was the same backwards with classical. You know, you stuck to your classical, you know.
Felix, I got to tell you something, though. I was a kid. I think it was back in like '68, and we were headed to Atlantic City. The Rascals were playing on the Steel Pier, and we were trying to get out early, and I was an altar boy at St. Joseph's in New Haven, Connecticut. And I remember the priest going, Eddie's got to leave. He's got to go see the Rascals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've had a lot of experiences like that over the years. If I may, I'll tell you a little quick story.
Would love it, yes.
I was doing this show one time. I think it was up in Upper Albany or something like that. And this gentleman came up to me, and he handed me his dog tags. And I said, "Excuse me." Well, he says, "Look, I got to explain something to you. You saved my life." I said, "What do you mean?" And he told me, he said, "You know, I was over in Vietnam. And, you know, they used to have those boats going up to pick up the wounded, you know, up the Mekong, you know, Delta there. And he said, I heard that you all were going to be on Hullabaloo in those days was a television show that had music." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Excuse me, I want to take the next boat. I want to hear this. I want to see this show." And that boat went down. Those people never made it back. So I still have his dog tags. You never know who's listening to your music and for what reason out there. Somebody's watching over those people because of our songs and because of us. You know, you say like, okay, you know, you're darn right. There's a reason for us to be out here.
Absolutely.
I agree. And music is very powerful. I talk to a lot of different musicians and songwriters and stuff like that. And the thing that amazes me about music, you have people that had dementia and Alzheimer's, and they can't even remember their kids' names.
That's right.
But they can still sing music that they remember.
That's right.
And that's pretty deep.
Well, it's a pretty high level of kind of communication with other souls. It really is. I mean, that's obviously why they use it in church. You know, I mean, it gets right to you.
Yeah.
It gets right to you.
Yeah. And I think the good Lord loves the B3 myself. I'll be honest with you.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he loves it. But anyway, golly bum.
There you go.
Now, are you still writing music and cutting new songs, or what's going on in that?
Well, you know, that's why I came down here to Nashville, because, you know, I moved here from, Connecticut.
Right.
And I had to put out a search party for songwriters and musicians. You know, you couldn't find them. Here, I can go to any restaurant. I can go to any place, and they're ready.
Right.
They just happen to be songwriters. They're just doing something else in the meantime. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I felt really welcomed here from the first day I have here. You know, I tell this other story, which is kind of cute too, because, you know, I came down and these people started telling me, look, you know, there's a bank in town that really helps musicians and songwriters and publishers. I said, you're kidding. They said, no. As a matter of fact, they have a separate department for musicians. I said, you're kidding. Where I come from, we had a separate department too. It was called the Exit.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing about songwriters, though. That y'all actually help each other. That's like Beth Nelson Chapman. You probably know her and all these other musicians. They help these young songwriters come up and actually help them create their own craft, which is, you know, that's always been kind of mine. Because, you know, a lot of different stuff, you know, people are like, no, they don't want to teach you how to do that because they want to hoard the market on it. But songwriters are different. They want to share and help all they can.
Well, you know, that's the thing. I mean, coming from up north, you know, my first wife was from Alabama. And, you know, she was shocked when she came up north. Because I found when we first came down, it's different, of course. It's 2000. Everybody helped each other. Everybody was happy. Everybody was, you know, saying hello to you on the street. There was no, you know, just not just songwriters. Everybody had their hand out. I remember, you know, when I first moved in, somebody came knocking on my door, you know, and I didn't know what it was. And it was a preacher from next door.
Yeah.
Can I help you? You know, that's that Southern hospitality that the people, I hope they still have it down there. But, you know, we used to hear about it all the time up north.
Yeah, that's here.
Opening the doors for people. If I open a door for somebody right now, they'll probably hit me.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Felix, you lived in Ridgefield, Connecticut, right?
I live next to that. I live in Danbury, yes.
Okay, but I know you've been to New Haven because your picture's hanging at
Oh,
Sally's
sure,
Pizza.
Yeah. Sure.
And every red-blooded Italian has been to Sally's
Yeah.
Pizza.
Felix, I got the station guy here. He's pointing. We have got to get to a break. But listen, man, you've got kinfolk down here. We need to get you. We got places down here you can play. We'd love to have you down there. We'll see if we can't get you.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Just tell them to call. My book's out. It's called Memoir of a Rascal. It's Felix Cavaliere's FelixCavalieremusic.com. CAVALIERE. And thank you all for taking the time.
Man, no. It's our pleasure's all ours, man. We appreciate you because I'm going to tell you, we are absolutely big fans. Your music plays on our station. We're heart, soul, and rock and roll, and just keep on making that music, brother.
Well, I appreciate you all. Let me tell you, and if I do get anywhere near your wonderful city there, I'll come in and knock on your door.
There you go. That'll work. We'll feed you supper down here. I guarantee
Absolutely.
you.
We got to get you to the mountains of North Georgia.
Felix, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
You take care of yourself. God bless. Take care.
God bless you, too.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.